We have a medium power spinning rod. We need to add to the weaponry now. And today we're going to talk about exactly what that is and the reasons why. Stay tuned. Hey folks, thanks for joining me today on Casting with Kirk. I'm Kirk, glad to see you today. I want to talk to you about fishing with a medium heavy spinning rod. Now when they talk power to a rod, you're talking anywhere from light, medium, heavy, heavy rods, even there's extra heavy rods. What that's referring to is the backbone of the rod. Your backbone is right in front of where the reel seat is, pretty much to about halfway up the rod. That's your backbone. That's where you need that solid, thick power to get that heavier hook set. A lot of those same lures that we talked about come in a much larger version that you need a bigger, heavier rod to throw. We can start throwing with our medium heavy rod. Buzz baits that are on the surface. We can go ahead and walk a frog. Those require a heavier rod to get a good hook set through the slop that you're fishing these over on the bass. You've got a topwater flapping kicking frog. We're now going to get into bigger lures on the surface. This is a popping topwater that will also walk back and forth. Requires good solid hook sets. We now have, instead of the 1.5 crankbait, we now have a 2.5. Much larger, half an ounce size. Requires a bigger, stiffer rod. And we had that 1/4 ounce lipless crankbait. Now we've got a half ounce lipless crankbait. You can throw larger spinner baits, 3/8 to half ounce. These lures right here are a chatterbait or blade bait. They're really, really phenomenal baits. They definitely require a heavier rod for a solid hook set. It's a 1/4 ounce swim jig. Now you'd think with the medium you can throw this. Well, you can as long as you've got a small trailer. On these, we have a tendency to put 4 or 5 inch trailers on them to swim it through the water, and you're coming through weeded areas and around wood, and you want that heavy, solid hook set. We're also going to start now throwing jigs. This is a football jig in a 3/8 ounce size. With a medium heavy rod, you easily go up to half ounce. Some of them will even handle up to 3/4 without an issue. These are great for dragging through rocks, throwing through the weeds, dragging by docks, that kind of areas. Then you can also take your soft plastics, like we talked about in the previous video, and instead of using really lightweight weights to them, you can actually rig these up now with a 3/8 ounce, a half ounce weight, even a 3/4, and begin punching. Now my recommendation for throwing these heavier lures on a stiffer rod is going to be go with 30 or 40 pound braid instead of your monofilament. This is going to get you that really long casting distance, but it's also going to help get those solid hook sets when you're throwing a jig and you feel the bass bite that and you go for that heavy hook set. It's going to be great when you're swimming this across the surface, across those thick, sloppy weeds, and they bite on this, you get that solid hook set with that braid. Talked about in the previous video about upping your arsenal. This now ups your arsenal even more, and this ups your weaponry you can go out and catch bass with. You can take both of these rods, the medium spinning and the medium heavy rod, fish any condition, fish anywhere pretty much across the country, fish off the back of people's boats with them without an issue, and go fishing the shores with a whole assortment of lures. If you like this information, go hit that like and subscribe, and I thank you for joining me today. Have a great day.